Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're thinking about studying in Poland? Great choice. In the next few minutes, we're going to go through a complete strategic checklist, especially for students from India, to turn that dream of a European education into a solid plan. So, let's just get right to it. Are you on the hunt for a high-quality, globally recognized degree from the EU, but, one that won't completely drain your bank account? If you're nodding your head right now, then Poland should absolutely be on your radar. Let's dig into why. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why Poland is such a smart move. Then we'll cover your academic checklist and tackle the tricky financial proof puzzle. After that, we'll walk through the visa process, talk about life in Poland, and finally look at what happens after you graduate. It's your A to Z guide.
All right, let's dive in. First things first, why Poland? What makes it stand out? Well, it all comes down to getting a really high-value European education with some pretty amazing perks. The first thing that just jumps out at you has to be the cost. I mean, look at this chart. The average tuition in Poland is hanging around 2,000 euros a year. Now compare that to 8,000 in other parts of Western Europe or a wild 15,000 in the UK. We're talking about massive savings, which makes a top-tier education so much more accessible.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's cheaper, but is it as good? And the answer is a big yes. The key here is something called the Bologna process. Think of it as a quality control stamp for European universities. It ensures that your Polish degree is held to the same high standard and is recognized all across Europe, and frankly, around the world. And hey, for all of you planning to maybe return to India someday, this is super important. The Association of Indian Universities, the AIU, has a few boxes you need to tick for your degree to be considered equivalent. You got to make sure your university is accredited, that you're studying full-time and on campus, and that the course length and entry requirements line up with what's expected in India. Definitely do this homework before you apply. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's get into the how. This next part is all about your academic checklist, everything you need to pull together for a really solid application. Right, so if you're applying for a course taught in English, you'll need to prove you can handle it. This table gives you a general idea of the scores you'll be aiming for. For an IELTS, that's usually around a 6.0 to 6.5 for undergrad and a bit higher for a master's. But listen, this is just a guide. You have to go to your specific university's website and check their exact requirements. Next up, let's gather your documents. You got the usual suspects, right? Transcripts, your SOP, letters of recommendation, passport copy. But hang on, look at that last point. I can't stress this enough. For students from India, it is absolutely 100% mandatory that all your educational documents are legalized. This is a non-negotiable step. So what on earth does legalized mean? It means getting something called an apostille. This is an official certification from India's Ministry of External Affairs that basically tells the Polish government, yep, these documents are the real deal. And let me be crystal clear. A quick stamp from a local notary public is not enough. It will not work for your visa. You need that official MEA apostille. All right, deep breath. We've arrived at what is often the single most stressful and confusing part of this whole journey, the financial proof puzzle. Getting this right is absolutely critical for your visa, so let's break this down step by step and solve it for good. The Polish consulate has a very specific formula. You need to prove you have enough cash to cover a return flight, which they peg at 2,500 Polish zloty. On top of that, you need to show living expenses for a full year at 701 zloty per month. Do the math, and that's the magic number you need to prove you had access to. And this right here is the #1 mistake that trips people up. It's so easy to assume you can just go to your bank in India and get a standard proof of funds letter. But for Poland's visa requirements, that specific document is not going to work. Let me show you what does work. Okay, this table is your solution. You can see the options. Now, notice the trap in that third row. A regular bank certificate of cash is only accepted if it's from a bank in Poland. How are you supposed to manage that before you even get there, right? It's a huge obstacle. But that brings us to the first row, the pro tip, the absolute game changer for Indian applicants, a credit card limit certificate from your bank right there in India. This is your key. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from the official guidance from the Polish consulate. It couldn't be clearer. A certificate showing the limit on your credit card is a perfectly acceptable way to prove you have the funds. This single piece of paper solves the entire puzzle. Fantastic. With our documents sorted and the financial puzzle solved, let's move on. Now we're going to talk about the visa process itself and get your timeline figured out. Getting your D-type national visa, that's the one you need for studying, is a pretty straightforward three-step dance. First, you get online and book your appointment through the official e-consulate system. Second, you fill out the visa application form. And third, you have to show up in person at a visa application center to submit everything. Now, timing here is everything. You can apply as early as 6 months before you fly, but you absolutely cannot apply any later than 15 days before. Honestly, my advice, don't even get close to that deadline. Give yourself a safe buffer of at least 4 to 6 weeks. Processing usually takes about 15 days, but sometimes it can take longer, up to 45 days. You just don't need that stress, so apply early.
Okay, let's fast forward. You did it. Your visa is approved. So what's life actually like when you get to Poland? How do you balance everything? Let's talk about it.
Poland is really great when it comes to student work rules. During the school year, you can work part-time, up to 20 hours a week. But here's the best part. The real kicker, during the official summer break, we're talking July, August, and September, you are legally allowed to work full-time. That is a fantastic opportunity to get real-world experience and earn some serious money to help with living costs. And finally, let's think beyond graduation day. Because getting a degree in Poland isn't just about the diploma. It's about opening a door to a potential career in Europe.
Now, this is a massive, massive advantage, so listen closely. If you graduate from a full-time program at a Polish university, you are completely exempt from needing a work permit to get a job in Poland. Let that sink in for a second. That removes a huge piece of bureaucracy for you and any company that wants to hire you. It's a huge deal. So, here's how that path looks. After you graduate, you can apply for a temporary residence permit. This lets you stay in Poland legally while you're on the job hunt. Then, once you land a job, because of that amazing exemption we just talked about, you can work for up to 3 years without your post having to sponsor any kind of work permit. That makes you a very, very attractive hire. So when you put it all together, the high-quality education, the affordability, the clear path to a career after you graduate, it's obvious that a degree from Poland is so much more than just a diploma. It's a launchpad. So the real question you should be asking yourself is this your gateway to Europe?